Give me an example again in your book. Give me an example of something
here's one
that the average person. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you actually brought some.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Very, very common.
Okay.
What we have here is a very common choice of many of my clients when I first started working with them, and members as well. They're running out the door, or they're actually stopping off at one of their favorite donut shops. They choose a multigrain bagel with light cream cheese.
Sure.
Sounds pretty reasonable. Sounds fairly healthy, right? Light cream cheese, multigrain bagel, just over 500 calories.
500 calories.
500 calories. Processed carbohydrate and saturated fat.
And people probably think that that's good for them.
Probably think they do. They do think it's good for them because it's fast and simple. Most people choose processed carbohydrates because it's fast and simple. What they don't realize is it processes through their system very quickly, and then they're hungry again. Also, what this does is people don't realize it's going to take them almost 2.5 hours to walk this off on the treadmill. The average 150-pound person.
2.5 hours to burn this off.
2.5 hours, yes.
Millions and millions of people every day are going through their fast food restaurant and they're having this for, this is what they're eating.
This is what they're eating. And they just don't understand. Like I said, the average 150-pound person walking 3 miles on the treadmill is going to take about 2.5 hours to burn that off.
No one has that time.
No, most people do not have that time. That's why the
Health Club diet. So it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, vicious
you can
cycle.
never catch up.
You cannot. And that's why so many people either maintain their weight or actually gain weight while they're members at the club or exercising at home. That's why the Health Club diet is about creating awareness of people's eating habits and making smarter, better choices so their exercise efforts will actually pay off with their goal of long-term weight loss. Here's another one.
My favorite.
Huh?
Is that a
blueberry muffin.
My favorite.
Most people, all right, they're running out the door or they're stopping at the shop, they choose a blueberry muffin, right, for the breakfast. Out the door they go. Blueberry muffin.
200 calories.
The average blueberry muffin.
The blueberries are good for you, right?
Blueberries are good for you, sure. Blueberry muffin is just a synonym for cake. That's all it is, a piece of cake, and that's the truth. Most blueberry muffins in general, are between 400 and 500, 520 calories.
What is the average person's caloric intake? What, in other words, throughout the day, what should the average person eat?
The average is about 2,000 calories a day.
2,000. So in one of these, they've already taken up a quarter of what they should eat throughout the entire day.
And that truly is not the issue. The issue is you're talking about processed carbohydrate with trans fat or saturated fat.
What is that? What's a processed carbohydrate? I don't.
Processed carbohydrate is digested in your system very quickly.
Okay.
And what that does is it spikes your insulin levels.
Yeah.
Okay. And all that does, and we have elevated insulin levels, promotes the storage of body fat.
Okay.
Which most people don't realize, and obviously they don't want. So have a better choice here is instead of choosing a 500-calorie muffin, which is very high in carbohydrate, very low in protein, a little tip here, the key would be to choose something better like Dunkin' Donuts, for example, offers a veggie flatbread.
Okay.
Veggie egg white flatbread,
sure.
I should say.
Egg whites?
Yes, delicious. I have them myself often. Okay, 290 calories, higher in protein, as well as higher in fiber. So you have fewer calories, and the food is going to last you longer throughout the day.
What do most people get with these every morning?
Oh, they're going to have, of course, choose a coffee. And depending on the type of coffee they choose.
Like these lattes that you see at these high-end coffee shops. I heard some of the numbers are absolutely staggering as to what's in them.
Yeah, designer coffees, you can go anywhere between 300 and 650, 700 calories.
So if someone were to go through the drive-through at these high-end coffee shops, they get this muffin and they get a latte.
Yes.
And they're already almost have exceeded what they should have throughout the entire day.
Yes. Quick story. Young men were at the club, a good friend of mine, he sat down, teenager, he's a swimmer, he sat down on the bench one day, I haven't seen him for about a year, and he had one of these lattes, 16 or 20 ounce latte, about 17 years old, and I noticed how heavy he had gotten within the past year, and I asked him, how often do you have these? He says, I'm having about two or three of these a day, and he said, I wish we could have Starbucks here right in the club. And I said, it's not so much the Starbucks, it's making the better choices within these restaurants, wherever you are, to keep your body fat under control. The amount of calories that people don't realize that they're taking in, as opposed to what they're burning on the treadmill or in the group exercise, was another very popular. That's the whole problem when people decide to start an exercise program with the belief that's all they need to do is exercise.
What about these energy drinks that you see on the market? I mean, they are everywhere. Everyone's looking for some energy. Everyone's exhausted, and they go to the store and they have these little shots and things like that. What about those? Because I see kids everywhere drinking these things, and you talked about what's actually in those, and again, that is also startling.
You're anywhere from 250, 300 calories. Oftentimes, you're 15 teaspoons plus of sugar.
15 teaspoons of sugar.
Yes, yes, and that's where they're getting the energy from. It's just a quick blast of the sugar, but they're not counting about the calories that were in these sugars. And these energy drinks, specifically, for example, they're touted very heavily, marketed very heavily towards athletes.
Sure.
And the average person who joins the club, who exercises at home, is just going to be going half hour to an hour of exercise. It's absolutely no benefit whatsoever.
So they drink these energy drinks to maybe get some energy to go to the gym because they're exhausted throughout the day, probably because they've been eating this for breakfast. And they have this energy drink right before they go to the gym, which they probably consumed, you said, 200-300 calories. They work out for 45 minutes, and they're still in the hole.
All it is empty calories. You get another 250 calories.
What are empty calories?
Little to no nutritional value. That's all that means.
So that's something in like a soda or something along those lines?
Exactly.
Or, okay.
Anything that processed sugar, whether it's high fructose corn syrup, cane sugar, crystalline fructose, it doesn't matter what label they put on it. It's all processed sugar with very little to no nutritional value within it.
In your book, you actually identify foods that you absolutely shouldn't eat, correct? Right? So like some of these processed things, but you also give alternatives, right? To pretty much any circumstance, whether you're going out to Chinese food.
No matter where you go, there always is a choice, a better choice that you can have. Okay.
Sure.
If I was at a Japanese restaurant, I could have easily ordered the shrimp tempura with fried vegetables.
Sure.
But I chose not to. I had miso soup, cooked sushi, and a brown rice bowl with delicious sautéed vegetables and chicken.
Sure.
Absolutely delicious.
Right.
Okay, so I had a high protein, high fiber meal here for Japanese. So and it tastes delicious.
And it tastes good because Americans are slaves to their palate. That's the other thing.
Absolutely.
These things here taste great. Right?
Oh, they're delicious. Of course they are.
But you, in your book, you have alternatives that also taste great.
Yes.
And that are good for you.
Good for you. The key is these processed carbohydrates here, when you eat them, they're processed within your system very quickly, and then an hour or so later, you're hungry again. And as soon as you're hungry again, that means you need to have more calories, okay, to keep yourself going. Now, if you have more calories throughout your day, hence, a very good chance you're either maintaining your weight or putting your weight on. If you make better choices, whereas you're adding higher protein foods with higher fiber, you're going to have lower calorie foods that last you longer throughout your day. And so you have natural appetite suppressant, which is going to lead to a natural weight loss. One
of the things, again, that I really enjoy about your book, because I've read a lot of these, I've seen a lot of these programs where we have these very restrictive diets that are shipped to you every month, and they taste horrible, is what you do is you provide just examples of what the average person can do out of their home. It's simple, easy, and it's effective.
So many people have the same habits. It's uncanny, and that's how I've developed this program right here. But you talk about foods and simplicity. People want simplicity. If it can't be simple, they don't want to do it.
Sure.
And you talk about other diets. This here, like I said, we can't even call it a diet, but there's no calorie counting, there's no points, there's no phases to follow, and there's no foods, prepackaged foods to order throughout the mail.
Right, because these programs that are on TV where they're shipping you food month after month after, that isn't how normal people live.
No, it isn't. And just think, so when you stop ordering these foods, then what happens? What are you going to do? So you've learned nothing. What does it teach you?
So you teach people in this book on the right things to eat, where to buy them, things of that nature?
Just at your average grocery store. No matter where you go, whatever grocery store you shop at, the foods are in there.
Okay. Is there a day-to-day diet plan or day-to-day lifestyle change that you also provide in here? In other words, are there recipes and things like that?
Yeah, breakfast, lunch, salads, recipes for dinner, all of that is included within the Health Club diet.
I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the people that have read your program and have experienced real results in just a minute. Folks, if you've been watching, again, and you're looking to lose weight, you're looking to lose maybe an extra 5, 10, 20, or even 30 plus pounds, pick up the phone, give us a call. We've been talking with Michael Atwood. He is an expert in health and nutrition. He's actually giving away his book today called The Health Club Diet. He's giving away absolutely free. Folks, this is a limited time offer. It's only available on television, and he's giving it away for free. This book is simple, it's easy, it's effective, and it can work for you. So pick up the phone and give us a call.